Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, I'm finally back in town. Man, it was a struggle for us to record this past week because I was traveling and running around so much. But now we're back, and boy, we about to pump out this content. And one thing I did want to talk about very quickly, Jay, is that, I saw an article from Mike Coppinger. This was maybe 3 or 4 days ago, and I just read through the entirety of the article from Coppinger, and he was talking about Canelo Alvarez and what could possibly be next for Canelo. Now we know that Canelo has signed. It's a 1-fight deal with the PBC to fight Jaime Munguia, and I was wondering, Jay, and I think I mentioned this on our live stream every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I wonder what is actually next for Canelo Alvarez. Like, did they agree that he's going to end up fighting David Benavidez in September or anything of that nature? Because, that was a sticking point at one point in terms of making the Jaime Munguia fight, because he still insisted on getting the opportunity to face Jamal Charlo. Boy, he is infatuated with Jamal Charlo. Sounds like he wants an easy payday. Now, what was interesting as a part of this conversation, because he talked about, how they got to the Jaime Munguia fight, but he talked about also what could possibly be next for Canelo Alvarez. And what was interesting was a name that we had heard about in the past, that a lot of people claimed that we were excited about that particular fight when we in fact said that we didn't like that fight either. But Errol Spence, according to Mike Coppinger, is still an option for Canelo Alvarez in September. Now, we know that Errol Spence is coming off cataract surgery, Jay. We know how he looked against Terrence Crawford. Many of us believe that that wasn't the same Errol that we've seen in the past in the ring with Terrence that night. For whatever reason, whatever you believe, that didn't look like the same Errol Spence we've seen in the past. Now, Errol more than likely is going to move up to 154 pounds. But again, I make the same argument I made for Terrence Crawford in terms of moving up. You're going to move up a considerable amount of weight to get the opportunity to face Canelo Alvarez. I don't like this fight either. If this were to happen, which you never can tell with Canelo Alvarez, because at the end of the day, my guess is Spence is still a big enough name for it to maybe sell. But at the same time, when I think about just the performance of Errol Spence, if a rematch with Terrence Crawford isn't going to sell, then why would a fight moving up 3 weight classes sell? So, a lot of people say Mike Coppinger he doesn't, they call him Mike Coppinger. And there's a lot of times where Mike is capping. There's no doubt about that, because he has a level of disdain for the PBC as well and the individuals that run the PBC. However, there have been times where Mike Coppinger is correct in terms of his reporting. So I just thought it was interesting that he put that out there. Jay, this isn't a fight that I like. I don't think Errol Spence belongs at 168 pounds. I don't think Errol Spence should be put in a fight after his last performance, unless he does something spectacular in this next fight that will allow people to forget the performance against Terrence Crawford. But even then, dog, like, you moving up 3 weight classes. I can't get past you moving up 3 weight classes and getting the opportunity to face at least a unified champion at that time, because I believe in September he would no longer be undisputed. We'll see. But I struggle with that. It's just me that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Errol will move to 154, see if he can collect the title there, and move on with his career.
No, I agree. I mean, you see me, I was shaking my head the whole time the minute you said Spence. And as soon as I read the article that you sent to me, as soon as I saw Spence's name attached with Canelo, I was like, this ain't it. Mm-hmm. This ain't it now. This ain't it. This was never it.
Yep.
This was never it. Also, it's like, even let's say Spence had beat Bud. Canelo wasn't going to do no catch weight at 152. Canelo was not going to give up concessions to anything. He's Canelo. He doesn't have to necessarily. He doesn't have to, because of where he's at right now, the level that he's at. And I hate that. And I would have the same pushback as you just had about it. He's going up 3 weight classes, coming off a devastating loss to Bud like he did. No one would want to see that fight. I didn't want to see it before. I damn sure don't want to see it now. Spence, get your money. Yeah, like we said, Bud, get your money. This ain't it. Again, the only fight that I want to see Canelo in is David Benavidez. That's the only fight. That's the next fight that should have been. That should be the fight right now, but it ain't. It should be a fight in September. I truly doubt that as well. But the fact that Canelo is hell bent on asking for a Charlo and allegedly asking for a Spence, you can't tell me that ain't cherry picking. Especially at this day and age, and this point in Charlo's career. If this was Charlo 3 years ago, that'd be a different story. But this Charlo here that has only fought one time in 3 years didn't look the greatest against Jose Benavidez Jr. neither. And he would be moving up one weight class to go from 160 to 168. And now you're talking about a possibility of Spence moving up 3 weight classes. It's the same argument I had for Bud moving up at 168. We know Spence is a weight bully at 147 for the most part. He talks about how much he walks around, how much he has to shrink himself down to, but he's not fighting at 168. Nor is he the best available challenger at 168. So no, if this does come into fruition, get your money, Spence. It's not going to do a lot of sales, in my opinion, at all. And it's going to be another BS to me. It's not going to be something I really want out there. Spence is my guy, but this ain't it. This ain't it. His name should never been even associated with Canelo at all, honestly, because it makes no sense. It didn't make any sense back then prior to the Bud fight, and it definitely don't make sense now.
Nah, it's not the move. Errol's going to be coming off cataract surgery soon. We'll see who they end up putting him back in the ring with. You know, I'm saying he needs a soft touch. You know what I mean? And I know Errol is known for getting into the ring and taking on the biggest and best challenges, even coming off of surgeries and long layoffs. I understand that. I get it. I respect it. However, he just came off of a really tough fight where he appeared to not be the same Errol Spence that we've come to know and love. And because of that, I personally believe that Errol needs a soft touch. Put him in the ring with somebody that's, you know, not necessarily a power puncher, but that's going to test him to some degree at 154 pounds. Get himself acclimated to the weight class. Get himself conditioned, back in shape, feeling good, feeling like Errol, and then you can step up the class at 154, maybe for an opportunity for a title. But absolutely not. You don't move him up 3 weight classes. It makes no sense whatsoever to do that at the moment. And this is just another sign of Canelo Alvarez where he is just, if Mike Coppinger is true or what he's saying is true, this is just another sign that Canelo Alvarez is looking for the easiest paydays he can find. And he believes Jaime Munguia is also an easy payday. So we'll see what ends up happening. It's going to be interesting. I just found it curious and surprising that they would even consider Errol in September, according to Mike Coppinger. So we'll see. You guys tell us what you think in the comment section. Is Mike Coppinger capping? Is it a possibility that Errol Spence could get in the ring with Canelo Alvarez? Would you want to actually see Canelo Alvarez versus Errol Spence in September? And if you do, under what circumstances? Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and we are out.